everybody, and welcome to a PartyPlex at 12 FPS. This one is called Two Totally Normal Humans. My name is Zen, and I am playing one of those totally normal humans who goes by Eggs Florentine. And with me today is.
Doll, and I will be playing the other totally normal human, Nova Stage.
Absolutely nothing to see here, folks. So,
I don't know why you're listening, it's so normal.
As befitting a game between two such normal people, it is a normal night at the Partyplex, and Eggs is going about his job duties as normal, which he is a nighttime security guard. So he is patrolling around the various areas of the Partyplex, looking for anything out of the ordinary. So far it's been a pretty quiet night. Nothing going wrong. Um,
Anything else to say? Is it me?
I don't know. I I don't know anything else to say unless you want me to put them in a specific area of the Partyplex.
No, it's fine, I got this.
All right.
So, while Eggs is going about his job, he gets he starts hearing the sound of a cart wheeling behind him and footsteps. Because Nova has just shown up out of nowhere because she's on janitor duty for tonight and she noticed her coworker was here, so she wanted to come talk.
Aw, how friendly and sweet and totally normal. um, at first I thought you said cartwheeling like the gymnastics trick, and I'm like, what would that sound like?
No,
No.
one of those really big yellow janitor's carts that's filled with all the tools and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. So like at the sound of that, I think Eggs sort of holds uh moves a little bit closer to the wall and turns to see who's coming up uh to mop the floor or whatever.
And he sees a woman with very bright fashion and hair and eyes. Those are some crazy contacts. She smiles at him and says, "Hey, looks like we're on the same time shift, huh?"
It would appear that way. Do I know you? Have we met before? I would remember. Uh,
Um, we haven't officially met. I've seen you around a couple times, but it's nice to officially meet you. I'm Nova.
and you can call me Eggs. And he will hold out his hand to shake hers.
And she happily shakes it.
I'm imagining this awkward pause happening in Universe 2 because Eggs does not know what to say. Just like, well,
Nova pipes up. So you're a night guard, right?
uh, yes. Uh, just got hired a couple weeks ago. And you're a janitor, I guess?
Uh, sometimes. I'm really more of a jack of all trades employee. I do just about anything around the Plex if I'm told to.
Hmm. That's a little surprising for a building this size, but I suppose it keeps things interesting.
What is this place if not interesting?
Oh, that's for sure. Uh, So, are you cleaning up in here? Do you need me to give you space or.
No, no, I already cleaned most of the stuff around here. I just saw you and thought it would be nice to, walk and talk with a fellow coworker.
um, you can roll insight.
Okay. Also, this really is just introvert gets adopted by extrovert meme.
Move to the roll zone chat. You're in the front row seats.
I was typing earlier with a different thing. That was not me typing for the rolling.
Ah.
One cool thing about DMV is it can roll for you on the site. So, insight,
Mm-hmm.
and we're off with a great start to the night with a nat 20
Oh
plus
my
3.
god.
We're off to a great start, folks.
Oh.
Of
Well,
course, the
okay.
Noel of all people gets a 23 on insight.
Staring directly into his soul. Uh
For real.
so yeah, Nova can tell Eggs is uh feeling a little awkward. Uh and a bit, unsure what's going on here. She gets the sense that he does not typically talk to his coworkers, and in fact does not typically talk to other people at all. And he's like a little bit worried maybe if this is some sort of like training operation sting and Bailey's gonna jump out around a corner going, aha, never get distracted on your shift. But mostly he's like wondering why on earth she would want to talk to him.
Yeah. Nova uh does her best to look friendly, which is pretty easy knowing her. And she says, it could I know it can get a bit lonely or spooky going through the whole Pizzaplex all alone at night, so why not keep each other company?
Uh, and he like looks at her and like sort of like nods a little and is like, uh, uh, okay, if you really want the company, I guess that's okay.
Yeah, she just beams at him. Your smile's almost as bright as her clothing.
Hmm.
You go ahead and lead the way since you're the one doing the security patrol and all.
Oh, all right then. And he will sort of continue walking the same route that he was before, maybe like uh walking along the balcony overlooking the atrium, just sort of like
Yeah.
uh uh looking around various places um for anything suspicious. But yeah, he's probably not going to be the one to strike up conversation.
Nova has that covered. She walks alongside him while pushing her cart in front of her, and after a little bit, she goes, "So, what are your impressions of the Partyplex so far?"
Um, well, it's very colorful. I haven't been here during the day so much, but it seems like a nice enough place.
She looks happy at that answer.
Uh, mm, uh, I think he's like, and I'm guessing you're quite fond of it. You seem to fit right in around here.
Yeah, she laughs and says it's practically my home at this point.
uh, and Eggs is just like, oh, that's nice. So, you know your way around this place pretty well, I'm guessing?
Like the back of my hand.
And are you familiar with all the various animatronics as well, then?
Mm-hmm. If you've got any questions, I'm the one to ask. Mostly. There are some questions you should ask them themselves.
I guess I'm curious. I haven't been around most of the animatronics terribly much. Uh, what your impressions are of, maybe what type of people they are. Uh,
Hmm.
maybe after the PartyPlex closes when there aren't so many people around.
Well, the DJ tends to stay in his area, usually asleep or mixing music. He's a pretty nice fellow. He's certainly more animated whenever his friends come to visit. The main three are pretty nice in their own ways, though they do have some damage. Really, I wish they could get that fixed. But they're nice enough. Jackie tends to stay in the daycare until security patrols start up. Harlequinette also tends to stay in the prize corners till security patrols start up. You'll probably meet them both soon. The security clowns are very infamous. They can be a bit creepy, but they're friendly once you get to know them. Cece, you should probably avoid Cece if I'm being honest. Nothing against her, she just has everything against us.
Uh, and he nods at that, sort of just listening along. Uh, I did get the chance to meet Harlequinette during some of my training. Uh,
Yeah?
me trying to think of how to fucking phrase that. Uh, they're
How to describe Harlequinette? That is truly the question.
uh, they're a security guard here or security robot.
hmm Uh, both the clowns are. Cece is also a clown, but she's not a security bot. That would be a bad idea.
Me about to ask a question that might put a lot of people on the spot, but uh, so how did that come to be? How does who makes the distinction between animatronics that are just performers and those that uh, perform security tasks as well?
Hmm. Well, I mean, Jackie was built for it as well as being the daycare attendant. Harlequinette kind of just showed up one day. They fixed it up and decided that it could also do two jobs. It was perfect for the prize corner, and also, you've seen it. You know why it's good for security. Would you want to run into it at night as an intruder?
I suppose not. And you can roll insight on that.
I will, thank you. Yippee. Nova! 19 plus 3! 22!
Oh my gosh.
Nova! What are you doing, darling? Quit staring into this man's soul!
uh.
Her rainbow eyes see all.
What do you see with your rainbow eyes?
Everything.
Ugh. Okay. Ugh. I'm okay. I don't know why this is so funny to me. Um, yeah. So X is like, yeah, I guess I probably wouldn't wanna see that in the dark, but there's kind of uh a bitterness to it, and not as much thought to the point where you think he has been in a situation where perhaps he was maybe surprised by something in the dark that may or may not resemble Harlequinette that is yeah, that's what he's thinking of, and not breaking into the partyplex and finding Harlequinette there.
Yeah, Nova just waves a hand and says, really, it's all up to upper management. But I mean, they've been pretty good so far with the security clowns.
Have they? I saw that incident in the news from Halloween, and
Uh, that's not what I meant. They definitely needed to hire more security, but I'm saying the robots are good at what they do and being scary when they need to be. But they definitely needed the help. Two bots alone can't do much.
well, with a building this size, I suppose not.
She nods.
Still, it seems a little bit off brand for any of the robots that also work with the children to be scary.
They're good at deciding when they need to be scary or not. You haven't met Jackie yet, but if you met her, it'd be hard to tell she's supposed to be intimidating unless you got on her bad side. Harlequinette, children are good at loving things that would usually be scary to adults, so I wouldn't worry.
And he nods at that, sort of thoughtfully, and is like, I suppose if they're not trying to scare the children, children can overlook a lot.
Hmm. Also, there's the fact that the children who are here most of the time get positive interactions with them. Like, it's hard to be scared of the clown at the prize corner when said clown is giving you a ton of cool prizes. And for the daycare kids, it's hard to be scared of the clown who's constantly playing with you and doing all sorts of fun activities. Positive reinforcement and all that.
Hmm, I suppose that would, uh, definitely normalize them for the children.
She nods. Hey, I'm curious. Even if you haven't met all the animatronics yet, which one's your favorite so far?
Uh, that I suppose I haven't really thought about it. I've been more focused on just trying to do my work. Do
Fair
you
enough.
do you have a favorite then?
And she just smiles and says, I can't really pick a favorite. They're all so wonderful, you know? They've all got little things about them that make them unique and amazing.
Aww. uh, Next is like, right. Well, they're definitely all very different from each other.
Oh, just a heads up since you mentioned the incident a bit ago and you are a security guard. Not all things that are colorful are good. Just as a tip.
He like looks over at the incredibly colorful Nova for and
And
stares for a second and then nods and
do you
is
want to
like,
roll insight?
"Sure." 12.
12. That's good enough. It won't give you everything, but it does give him. She's not talking about herself, and she probably knows something about what happened that night.
Hmm. And Eggs nods and he's like, "Well, I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Though I'm not I'm not so sure how a bad, brightly colored thing would stand out amongst all the other brightly colored things here."
She nods. That's a good point. Though, from what I've heard, with the incident last time, there was a bunch of glitter everywhere the intruder had been, so that's another thing to watch out for. Luckily, glitter shines when you shine a flashlight on it, so if it's there, it should be easy to notice. Hopefully.
Yes, that does sound incredibly obvious.
You would think! And yet, it took a whole team.
And did they wind up catching the person in the end? The news broadcast I saw was rather vague on some of the details like that.
From what I heard, yeah, they caught them, but they ended up attacking the one holding on to them while everyone else was gone, so the intruder got away. But they did catch them first. Hopefully, getting caught was enough to deter them from ever coming back. But that's why you have to be aware of glitter and that kind of stuff in random places.
Hmm. Well, that's definitely good to know. Wish it had been communicated by uh the manager or another guard, but better to hear about it like this than not at all, I suppose.
She nods. Sometimes the higher ups don't mention things like this because they don't want to psych out new hires.
Hmm. Well, I think it's going to take more than some glitter to scare me away from here.
She laughs. She then thinks a bit and says, "So, you've met Harlequinette already?"
Uh, it was there for some of my security training, yes. We didn't
Oh, who,
exactly talk much, but I've seen it.
who all was in your training?
Um, I'm not terribly good with names. A few other employees. A bird with black feathers.
She
Someone
has
in
to stifle some
grayscale.
giggles at the. She has to stifle her giggles at the mention of Benji.
uh, Someone in grayscale. Another bird who took himself very seriously. And Harlequinette.
She nods. That sounds like Benji. um,
Do you know him then?
Eli. Oh, do I know him? He doesn't know me, but ooh, I have heard of him. And she looked so amused.
Well, I don't find that hard to believe. I'm sure. Ugh, I was only with him for an hour, and there's probably a dozen different stories about him that I could tell.
Do you want to know the best one I know?
Sure, why not?
So, he was working his first day with Harlequinette, who you know, and Ajax, the PartyPlex's golden employee. He's employee of the month every month. So, Benji was working with the two of them and managed to anger Harlequinette so much that they threw him in the trash. And then when he got out of it, he refused to go clean off. So Ajax, the nicest guy in the Plex, washed him in the sink in the kitchen and then dried him in front of an open pizza oven. And Benji was fighting him the whole time.
Hmm. You want to roll an insight on that?
Yes. Doodle, doodle. 16 plus 3, 19. Nova,
Oh
you
boy!
do not have plus 9 on insight. Why are you getting such good rolls on insight?
The dice
She
lover.
said, yeah, she said herself, I see everything. Screw you.
uh, So yeah, even though Nova is telling this meaning for it to be a funny story, Egg seems to be listening and like thinking it over kind of intently and like making mental notes. And like you get to the end of the story to like Benji being washed in the sink, dried in the pizza oven, and he's actually gonna go. It threw him in the trash.
He somehow managed to get on Harlequinette's nerves so much that it just did that. I think what happened was when Harlequinette was trying to clean off one of the party tables, he started messing with it somehow, like I don't know, kicking the trash off the table, and the Harlequinette got so fed up it put him in the trash bag along with the trash it was picking up.
I see. And he is still not laughing at this.
She like tilts her head for a second, says, "I think something about Benji is something about him is a magnet for trouble when it comes to clowns because there was also a time where all three of the PartyPlex clowns quote unquote hung out with him. And really all it was them, pardon the pun, clowning on him.
Oh? In what way?
Mm, mostly just really strange games of hide and seek or laser tag, in the fact that the clowns would chase after him. First it was Jackie, and they were doing hide and seek in the daycare, and Benji was dramatic about it, which made Jackie dramatic about it. So it was a bit intense. Then they did laser tag, and Benji did the stupid thing of attacking Jackie, which made the other clowns upset, so he got blinded for a little bit. They He was fine, but he did upset the clowns. He's not good with the clowns, is all I'm saying.
Is he good with any of the other employees?
If they're patient, sure.
Hmm. You certainly seem to know a lot about what goes on here. Got your ear to the pavement, as it were?
Yeah, since I know the place so well, I'm pretty much able to be just about anywhere when I need to be. So when commotions get caused, I'm typically uh able to watch in the background, or if I'm not on shift, I hear it from gossip from the other workers later. Do you want to roll something about that?
Uh, sure, I can. What would that be, like insight?
Yeah. Yeah, either, yeah, probably insight, since she's doing a deception thing. We can do opposing rolls of your insight versus or investigation if you want versus my deception.
Oh, I'll go investigation, because that's
Okay.
much higher. Should I roll again or just change the modifier?
Roll again.
Okay. 24.
Yeah, Nova is not telling the entire truth. She's not lying when she says she can be just about anywhere, but you can tell that's not the whole of it. She knows a lot more than she's letting on, even now.
Hmm. uh, Eggs kind of like, looks at her for a moment and is like, uh, well, it seems like you might be my best, resource for gossip here. Since I'm on the night shift, there's not many other people to overhear the goings on from.
She smiles and says, I'm always happy to talk if someone's willing to lend an ear. And if you got any questions, don't mind asking them. I'll do my best to answer.
uh, you can roll an insight.
Yippee! It's just these two constantly trying to deceive each other.
Well, not. X isn't necessarily trying to deceive anything, it's just a matter of how well you can read him.
Well, apparently Nova can read them like an open book.
Oh my gosh. 20. Uh,
I'm scared to say anything about this because I feel like my luck will run out if I point it out fully.
I mean, it
So I'm
doesn't
just gonna
seem
knock on wood right now.
happen so far. So Nova can clearly tell that Eggs has a lot of questions, but is hesitant about asking them, not because like he's shy, but because he like doesn't want to come off as very suspicious or tip his hand as to, a connecting thread between these questions perhaps.
She she says, "Come on, I'm sure you've got some burning questions. You can trust me, and I'm going to make a persuasion roll."
Okay.
She wants to know the lore. Uh, Nova, Nova, please, I'm scared that you're gonna start rolling ones soon if you keep this up. Natural 20 plus 9.
Oh my god.
Nova, you're scaring me.
Nothing I roll could beat that, even if I did make a saving throw against it.
Someone help me. She's gonna start rolling all ones soon. I'm scared.
The first time she's in an actual game facing off against Strava or something, just starts failing every roll, used up all her luck in this FPS.
Used up all her luck trying to get that sweet, sweet lore. She's so smart. And then the second she gets in a fight, it's like, well, bye.
uh, so yeah, Egg sort of like thinks it over for a moment and is like, uh, well, you mentioned that they found Harlequinette and sort of cleaned them up into an animatronic. I'm not exactly familiar with the business, but that sounds like not the way things are usually done. I'm curious what happened there.
She like leans her arm and elbow on the handle of the cart and like puts her chin in her hand and goes, "Well, that was back earlier in uh the whole PartyPlex lifespan, so they weren't exactly going to look a gift horse in the mouth or a gift box in the opening, I guess. Harlequinette was basically ready to go. They just needed to clean it up and do a couple touch-ups, and who are the upper management to say no to a free animatronic? It might not have been the best safety practice, but it was a great business decision. And the other animatronics like Harlequinette a lot, so it also got them a new friend. Still, I don't think it would happen again if a random animatronic were to just be left on our doorstep. Due to all the safety concerns going on, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen again.
Hmm. And that's the only time it has happened? There were no other animatronics left on the doorstep? Just that one?
Just that one so far.
Hmm. And you'd think
I'm
if,
imagining this pause
uh,
happening and she's just staring at him with her rainbow eyes, seeing too much.
uh, uh, hmm, he's sort of like thinking, and I think he's like sort of muttering to himself. Well, if it's been 5 years and none of the others have turned up, then they're probably not going to.
She's listening, but she doesn't let him know.
Uh, mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Uh, so you said they're friends with the other animatronics now? Are the are all the animatronics here awake like that?
Mm, all the main ones, yeah. Not sure about the staff bots. Some of them might be, but really, how would you tell? But yeah, Harlequinette has a lot of friends here, especially Jackie, the other clown I mentioned. They're very much best friends. Oh, and Ajax, the gold employee. He's also very good friends with Harlequinette.
Hmm. And he like nods and he's like, ah, interesting.
She smiles. It's also pretty good friends with Cece, but again, Cece is not nice to non-robots, so if you're curious about its friends, I'd advise not going to her.
Hmm. That's good to know. Which one is Cece? I'm not sure that I
The ice
recognize
cream
that name.
clown.
Ice cream clown.
The clown that runs the ice cream parlor.
I see.
Jackie is the monochrome clown.
And he like nods. There certainly are a lot of clowns here, aren't there?
3. That's not a lot, but it's weird that there are 3, I mean.
If I had a nickel for every clown animatronic.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was trying to reference.
Reference detected. uh, yes. Especially since I don't think there are multiple, well, alligators or wolves or any of the others, are there?
Mm. She thinks for a bit, and then she's about to say something, and then she remembers, oh no, those 3 aren't supposed to be known. And she just shakes her head. Really, it is just the clowns, I guess. Huh.
Proper clown husbandry says that you have to have a proper circus troupe for the clown's health and well being.
Yes, exactly. The PartyPlex is practicing proper clown husbandry.
uh, hmm,
Uh, Nova starts giggling, says, who knows, maybe someone in upper management just really likes clowns.
well, considering the rest of the building, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that was the case.
Nova looks curious and is like, what do you mean?
Well, the place is really colorful and shiny and, uh, lively, I suppose. So it feels like a similar atmosphere to a circus, maybe. Maybe that's just
She
me.
nods. No, I can see it.
Probably not a bad design choice for a place for children.
She looks pleased. Internally, just like, yes, my workers like my design.
uh, he like notices her looking pleased, and he's like, "Oh, did you have some hand in the design as well?"
She laughs and shakes her head. No, no, I really like the atmosphere and design of this place, so it makes me happy when other people do too.
Like looks at her outfit, looks at the party pucks. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm sure this place attracts all kinds of people who are into that aesthetic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a really great place. I've kind of modeled all my outfits for work after it. You could say I've modeled my entire self after it, if you're being a bit of, if you're exaggerating a bit. Listen, she thinks it's funny to put things out in plain sight and watch them not get it.
uh, Eggs is like quietly like, well, that doesn't sound healthy, but it's not any of my business, so I'm not gonna say anything. Uh,
Speaking of styles, I'm curious about yours. Why'd you choose that look? Put him on the spot.
Immediately, he's just like, oh, deer in the headlights. Uh,
Deer in the rainbow colored headlights.
deer in the neon spotlights. Uh, which part of it, I guess?
Well, the bandages and the mask. Really, I'm not asking why you have a mask or the bandages. I mean, Ajax has a mask too. He never takes it off. I'm just wondering why you chose a fox and that particular style of bandage.
Uh, well, I'm afraid it's not a very interesting story. These just happened to be the bandages on sale, and for the mask, I thought that an animal would be less frightening in the case that I came across children while working here. It seemed like a friendly choice.
Aw, sweet. That's a good reason to choose something like that.
uh, Swiftly changing the topic, he's gonna be like, if you wanted to discuss style with someone whose answers might be a little more interesting, Officer Bailey, who did my training, seems to have a somewhat similar fashion sense to yours. A lot of bright colors for sure.
She pauses for a moment and then waves her hand and says, "Nah, you're interesting enough. Plus, I have plenty of time to talk to Bailey whenever I want. We have a lot of the same shifts together."
Ah, I guess that's lucky for you. Um, he doesn't know what else to say.
Probably look around and point something out to bring up a conversation.
uh, So, how long have you worked here? You seem to know pretty much everyone.
She just smiles at him and says, I mean, does it really matter? In persuasion. 12 plus 9, 21.
Oh my
It does not
gosh.
matter.
Oh my gosh. I I guess not. This place just seems so large. I can't imagine how long it would take me to get as familiar with it as you seem to be.
Well, since I'm a jack of all trades employee, I get plenty of shifts to figure it all out.
I suppose that would help. I, like I said, I haven't seen this place during operating hours very much.
Hey, who knows? Maybe you'll start getting better at finding your way around too.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be easy as pie once you get past your first couple weeks. It always takes a bit to adjust, but you'll be alright.
It would certainly be easier if the map on these things were a little easier to read. And he like taps on his Razwatch and or his Razwatch. I said it the right way and then I was like, "Oh no." Uh and like pulls up the shitty map.
She glances at it and looks up at him and says, Hey, don't tell anyone this, but I could upgrade your map. I've managed to figure out how to add my own touches to it.
Oh, if it won't
Yeah,
be any trouble, that does sound like it would be helpful.
here. And she like holds up her Raz watch and like bumps it against his. And there's like a little rainbow flicker on the screens for a second. When she pulls away, the map is labeled and has maps of all of the Pizzaplex instead of just the normal areas, including the staff tunnels and all that. Congrats, you have upgraded your map.
uh, oh, that does seem a lot more useful. Why don't they have this on everyone's by default?
She shrugs. I don't know. You'd think for a company that's able to make full on sentient animatronics, they would be able to handle making a map. Still, at least I'm able to help out when I can.
You certainly are. You weren't kidding about the jack of all trades thing. I don't know why they have you working as a janitor if you're uh, good at code like that, too. And friendly with
She
all the other
chuckles.
animatronics, and seems like a waste to me.
She chuckles and shakes her head. No, no. I do all sorts of jobs. I help out in parts and service sometimes. I'm just wherever they need me to be at the moment. And right now, they need a janitor.
Well, I want him to be able to say, "Oh, you seem to be doing a good job," but can I do a perception to look around the room to see if it's actually clean first?
Go ahead.
11.
11. Uh, yeah, it's clean.
Mm. Well, you seem to be doing a pretty good job at it.
Thanks. You know, I'm pretty good at all of my jobs, but surprisingly, I'm not someone who tends to be in the spotlight often. If anything, I'm more of a background character, so to say. I know it wouldn't seem like it with how I dress and all, but for some reason, it's really easy for people not to notice me. I wonder why.
Hello? Can I roll insight on that or something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, 7. No.
Yeah, she seems genuinely not to know why people don't notice her much, and despite her bright colors and all that, but she seems decently fine with being in the background and all. There's nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Uh. And
Uh,
he's like, it is unquell. Uh, Sometimes even colorful characters just don't stand out because that's everyone.
she nods. Makes the ones who aren't colorful stand out more, ironically.
uh, he trying to put put into the words. He
Yeah.
gives like a little at that little grimace because he's not very colorful himself. He does not like standing out.
She looks at him and says, "Hey, maybe you should, like, sparkle up your badge or something. That might get people to not pay as much attention.
Oh,
Trust me, I'm great at not showing up for some reason."
well, luckily there's not usually many people around after hours to see me one way or the other.
That's true. Being on night shift is an introvert's paradise, huh?
It has its benefits. You can roll insight on that.
Nova! Quit getting in the 20s! 18 plus 3.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
So,
strangling Nova right now. I've never been more scared of my own luck.
so,
This really is just Nova knowing everything about eggs and then eggs barely getting anything from Nova.
mhm. uh, so Eggs is speaking a little bit about, oh yeah, there's no one around to like gawk at him when he goes out at night, which is nice. There's also no one around to look at him for other reasons. He can do other things without having to worry about avoiding a bunch of prying eyes.
As far as he's aware.
As far as he's aware, he's been doing a great job sneaking around without anyone noticing.
She nods. The security clearance levels of a night guard job is pretty awesome too. You can just go into whatever cool attraction you want to.
I suppose, but it's not exactly like uh well, it's just to, you know, monitor the areas and make sure that they're all as they should be. It's not like I could just go around playing all the games or going on the attractions themselves.
She nods and lets out a dramatic sigh. I wish I could do all that, but gotta stay professional. Can't do that stuff while it's nighttime.
He just like nods. Lingering from the like 21 insight, he's not that torn up about it.
Hmm. Hey, speaking of attractions, since you couldn't choose a favorite animatronic, do you have any favorite attractions?
I mean, it's not like I've actually uh engaged in any of them. Uh,
Based purely on vibes, what vibes with you the most?
hmm. He will think about that for a minute because I have not thought about that yet.
Yeah, well, you think I can look more at the front row seats?
Uh, yeah, I think he's like, uh, honestly, I think I like the arcades best. A lot of this other stuff is a little too flashy for me.
She nods and then says, Hey, funny coincidence. The other guy who wears a mask all the time works at the arcade.
Does he? Is that, uh, I can't remember if Nova has made the connection between Guy Who Wears a Mask and Ajax the Golden Employee.
No, she has. She said Ajax wears a mask all the time, too.
Mm. And he's the one that's friends with the Harlequinette as well, right?
She nods. He's friends with basically everyone here. Uh, he's trying with Cece, but you can guess how that goes. He's pretty awesome. Great coworker to have.
Hmm. Maybe I'll get to meet him one of these days, though, if he doesn't work the night shift. I'm not sure how
He
likely that
works,
is.
he works nights sometimes. Sometimes the arcade machines are so busted up he has to stay late to fix them.
Hmm. Well, I guess that's something to keep an eye out for then, so that maybe we can cross paths.
She nods. Hey, about Officer Bailey, what do you think of her? Since she's, your boss and all.
Um, she's very upbeat. I can't really keep up with that energy, but I
I
suppose
understand.
it's a good quality for a security guard.
She nods. If you want to roll insight, you can.
Sure.
Please, Eggs, you need to start getting something on your side, too. There
Nat
we go.
20!
Hell yeah. You get the sense that she's disappointed that you haven't noticed something about Bailey, but she's not going to bring it up. Like, it's a secret that She's not supposed to share, but she really wants someone else to find out.
Mm.
You also get the sense that if you bring it up, she will very hardly deflect.
Oh, well, still worth a shot. Uh, you spend a lot of time with her, right? What are your thoughts on her?
She pauses for a little bit again and says, "She's a fun coworker. It's always fun seeing her reactions when I show up on shift with her. We've got a lot of the similar style and fashion and all. So, yeah, working with her is interesting. You never know what you're gonna see. She's certainly a very upbeat and energetic character." And this all sounds like praise, but with the 24, you can tell again she's hiding something. And she seems a bit like a mix of mischievous when talking about showing up on shift with Bailey and uh disdainful.
Hmm. X will, like, make a mental note of that, but he won't push it any further. Well, I've only known her a few weeks, so I guess there's still time to get a better sense for her.
Nova nods. "I wish you luck with getting to know all the other employees."
You can roll insight.
Okay. Nova,
Did you finally
I
get a
love
bad
you,
roll?
but I'm going. No, that's the problem. I get my 20.
A nat. You
That's
got
the problem.
a nat 20?
No,
Or
unnatural 20, but
unnatural?
still a 20.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Never have I wanted to kill someone for rolling so good.
Oh. It's probably for the best because Eggs isn't going to reveal anything willingly. Um.
Nova has decided the dice do not make her bend, she bends the dice to her will. And as the building itself, she decides what she gets to know. She wants to know everything.
Hmm. uh. And like as she mentions getting to know all the other employees, Eggs sort of like stiffens up a little. He does not want to get to know all the other employees. That sounds like a lot. That is overwhelming and no thank you. He
Uh,
he wants to talk to a couple of the other employees with a purpose in mind, not necessarily to befriend them.
yeah, Nova remembers, oh, right, introvert. And then she shrugs and says, "But that'll probably take a long while considering you're on night shift all the time."
Right. Um, and I suppose most of the employees don't work night shifts, do they?
Yeah, most of them are on day shift, and honestly, if you don't want to talk to the animatronics, it's pretty easy to avoid them too, since they're, very loud. The only ones you wouldn't really be able to avoid based on sound alone is the clowns. Well, the security clowns. CC also is loud. For a bunch of big animatronics, Harlequinette and Jackie are very good at being quiet.
Hmm. Well, I suppose they wouldn't be very effective security if anyone who was doing something wrong could hear them coming.
She nods. "Well, at least with the position you're in, you'll be able to meet everyone on your own time instead of, having to run into them all the time."
benefits of the night shift.
Hey, there's a vending machine up ahead. Do you want to get something?
Uh, no. Uh, but if you do, I'll wait for you, I guess.
She hums and then goes over the vending machine. She and I are guessing the reason he doesn't want food is because he can't have it.
Yup.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nova doesn't need food but thinks it's a very fun sensation, so she gets herself a fizzy drink.
Raz Cola or whatever we called it.
Yeah.
I think
That version versus Chad meme, like the one who can't have drinks or food versus the one who doesn't need them but gets them anyway. Trick Stitch just wakes up to a bunch of food surrounding it. Wait, that's how Trick Stitch keeps getting the food in the dumpster store. It gets manifested over there. I mean, it's not manna from heaven. I'm assuming that anything that gets manifested into the dumpster by Nova is as if it has not been eaten, though it will still have touched the trash, so so food.
Nova drinks the can of cola, the unopened can of cola showing up in the dumpster.
Exactly. Trick Stitch wakes up after getting beamed by a sudden cola.
Get wrecked. Oh. This is going to be awful for anyone only listening to the recording. They can't follow along. Oh. I'll maybe try and put a screenshot in. Oh.
Yeah. Pros, Trick Stitch gets free merchandise. Cons, owie, my head.
uh. Mhm. Uh. I think like Eggs stands a few steps back, but is sort of like peering over Nova's shoulder to see what's in the vending machine. And when it is all PartyPlex branded food, he's like, uh, wow, this place even has its own brand of cola. I shouldn't be surprised, but somehow I am.
She just laughs at that and says, I mean, it's pretty cool for someone to have their own brand of cola, so of course the pizza PartyPlex would do it too.
I mean, it would less be that it's cool for a person to have it and more a smart corporate decision, but
Eh. She like wilts a little at that.
Nova being reminded about Raspberry Corporate. Ugh.
Yeah. And also the fact that nobody else knows she is the one with the soda brand, technically.
Mhm.
She's like, well, I mean, they're sodas for the animatronics. It's the animatronics branded soda, not just corporate.
Ah, that is interesting.
You know, the animatronics even have their own branded shoes, too.
Is there no depth to which the merchandising does not go?
It goes farther than you can imagine. And she just lets out a sigh. And she says, "You're pretty curious about Harley Quinnet. Harley Quinnet has shoes. Like branded shoes if you want them. Though you'd have to find them first. They keep going missing every time we get a shipment."
That's you can roll insight.
I will. My luck is running out now. 10.
10. I think 10 is still enough that he's got like a deer in the headlights look again, and he's like, no, I'm good with my current shoes, I think.
Fair enough. Honestly, it's probably for the better. If the shoes keep going missing, then they're probably not meant to be found. MJ putting "Where the Clown Shoes, Boy."
Oh. Uh.
Nova honestly probably has a pair, but just doesn't wear them because she knows Harley Quinnet will get mad. Yes! The, there should be comics or ads like that. You're so right, BB.
No! No! I'm sorry. The fucking. You guys know I have another campaign, right? Based around the fucking Skechers show!
We combine the two. We combine PartyPlex in your campaign.
You gotta stop bridging the gap! I can't be talking about Skechers.
Crossover event, make it happen.
Honestly, that would be so dope, but also the number of people that it would take to wrangle. My other campaign has 6 players. Oh my god.
Oh,
Plus at least 3 from here.
consider you could have a PartyPlex shoes cameo in your campaign.
We can't talk about
You don't have to play it.
legally we can't talk about shoes in the campaign.
Call them quits. I don't know.
Well,
They just mentioned PartyPlex.
we can mention the part, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Honestly, now I'm thinking about how to make it work, which is not a thought to be having in the middle of an FPS.
We're infecting you with the silliness.
Hang on, I gotta write this down as a note. Where's my? We can cut this
This
part out of the
FPS is
recording.
full of awesome art potential and shoes.
God.
I can't stop thinking about Nova in the clown shoes now.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't even. I mean. One day. I mean, truly, it's up to you. She could be wearing the clown shoes right now.
No. She doesn't wear them out of respect for Harley Quinnet, but she has them.
Of course she does. I forget what the fuck we were doing.
We had just mentioned the Harley Quinnet shoes, and Egg said he was fine with the shoes he had.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I got no idea where to go from there, but
Uh, they were talking about merch, so she like
mm,
looks off in the distance at one of the merch stores and says, "Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff."
they certainly do. I'm uh a little surprised that people would buy some of these things with the PartyPlex branding on them. I mean, I understand shirts and things like that, but like the wall calendar, the playing cards, it it seems like maybe it's gone a little far. The laptop charger, I feel
Okay, I
like. Oh, am
the
I too?
cards and the wall calendar happen a lot with different types of merchandising and different place and characters. Um, you're right, the wall charger is weird, but at least it's not as weird as something like that weird orange cat phone.
I suppose when you put it in context like that, it could be a lot worse.
She nods. And she just shudders and says, "Can you imagine if they tried to make one of the characters into a merchandised phone? How would that even work?"
I don't think I want to imagine it. I mean, we saw. I mean, the Raz watches are already merchandised versions of the animatronics. So,
Yeah, but they're like little watches and cutesy. Something like that weird phone would be like the entire character but plastic, and you pull out part of them to act as the phone, and that's weird.
hey, roll insight.
I will, thank you. Okay, a 12.
A 12. Yeah.
MJ, no. MJ, no. If it's gonna be anything, it's gotta be the dumpster. Okay? Not the prize corner, the dumpster.
yeah, Eggs is sort of
If the
just.
Partyplex itself thinks it's bad, it has to be in the dumpster. 1 second, I'm being paged.
Oop,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm in the game. I'll be down in a bit. Sorry, they were telling me dinner's prepared for when I come down.
yeah, we might wanna wrap up soonish anyway. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, with a 12, Eggs sort of seems a bit taken aback by the idea. But it's probably just because, yeah, there's no way that would look good, huh?
Yeah. Like the only one who could potentially look okay with it is DJM, because he's got a very specific body type.
I mean, if you're taking off DJM's headphones and that was the phone part, that might work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Again, DJM is the only one who could potentially work for it and not look horrible.
hmm. Anyway.
But I
Hmm.
think Nova would look at the time after that conversation and go, huh, time's almost up.
Oh, is your shift about over then?
She nods. It was really fun talking to you, though. Thanks for indulging me.
Oh, and thank you for answering some of my questions.
Of course. I hope you have a nice rest of your night.
You as well. Thank you.
And I
Uh,
think Nova would walk off, and then, like, when she turns the corner, it's probably nothing, but you stop hearing the wheels, like, very fast when she turns the corner.
yeah, that's probably nothing. That's probably normal. Just totally normal.
Yeah, don't worry about it. She probably just found a door to the security tunnels really fast and went in. Don't worry about it.
He is not worrying about that. He has other things to worry about.
Yep.
Uh, but that was fun. That
But
was a fun
mm,
FPS.
eggs made a friend? Question mark.
Ooh, maybe he. If you ask him, he would be very hesitant about saying that, but maybe. Who knows? Uh,
Well, let's sign off.
yep. Thanks for playing, and thanks everyone who is listening.
I hope you had a great time with that totally normal, boring FPS. I don't know why you listened. There was nothing in it.
Our next recommendation: watching paint dry. It should be about as interesting.
Hmm.
uh, all right. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.